Hey everybody, this is Jacob from the On The Go podcast. Tune in every Monday and Friday as James and I tackle a variety of topics ranging from pop culture to current events.
I didn't want to scare anyone. You'd have called me crazy because it is crazy. It would have made more sense if we were on the brink of an all-out invasion. But this... I didn't think we'd actually let something like this happen. I thought we were smarter than that.
And now for our feature presentation.
Leave the World Behind.
Leave the World Behind. Sounds like a Kirk Cameron movie.
It was based off a book, James. Did you know that?
Yeah. You know who Kirk Cameron is, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. That's what it sounds like. Leave the World Behind. Yeah, I knew it was based on the book.
It's based off a book. I think the book came out in like 2018 or something like
Yeah.
that. Very recent book. Now, James, I did not enjoy this movie.
You didn't watch. You didn't.
I did not have a good time
Oh,
with this
man.
movie. It was a very slow movie.
It is slow.
It was a little excruciating.
It is.
And it had a strong start. And honestly, that clip where they come to the door.
That's what the movie picks up
GH
for you.
Yeah, well, that's not where it picks up, but that's where it piques my interest originally. Because the first
Okay.
trailer was that scene where they show up at the door and they're like, "Oh, hey, we own the house," and blah blah blah, and you're
Mhm.
like, "Oh, what's going on with this?" Yeah, man, this is done by the Obama's film production company.
Yep.
The Obamas should stay away from movies.
You think so?
I
you really
I did
like
not
this movie?
enjoy it that much.
Wow.
I just the it sounds sexist, but the women characters didn't
Oh,
like the wife,
well,
didn't
I
like the
agree.
daughter. They both were very annoying to me.
I hated Julia Roberts' character.
Just
Julia Roberts' character. And I definitely hated his daughter.
yeah.
His daughter was like a total tool bag the entire time.
Yeah. And they're essentially the same character, but
Yeah,
like
they're-
opposite ends.
I was about to say the same thing. They're essentially the same character, just on the opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm gonna let you finish. My bad, but yeah, I agree with you 100%.
No, yeah, I just didn't like them. The husband was an idiot.
Ethan Hawke. I'm sorry,
He was
man,
a
but you're
dummy.
right. Ethan,
He was a dummy.
I've
the
never
whole
seen
movie.
Ethan Hawke play a stupid character before. This is the first time I've seen him play somebody dense.
Every line he had was just like, "Wow, you're really just stupid, aren't you?"
Yeah,
Like, I mean, he was good hearted, but like, man, wow. Marshall Ali, like his character was great. I mean, he had the whole like mystery of like who
is
who
he?
did he work for,
Mhm.
what does he know, and all this stuff. And I mean, obviously spoilers. I'm not gonna play the spoilers
yeah,
thing 'cause
yeah,
you should
yeah.
know. But
yeah.
yeah, it didn't
Just
do
didn't
much
do that
for
for
me.
you.
It really did.
Well, yeah, I get that. Yeah,
so
I get that one.
what did you think of the film?
I thought it was a good movie.
Okay.
I thought the performances were top tier. I thought Julia Roberts was great because I really don't see that much of Julia Roberts anymore. So anytime I get any doses of Julia Roberts, I kind of love it.
Yeah.
I think she's a fantabulous. She was fantabulous. She's a great actress. And Mahershala Ali, money as usual.
Yeah.
Like I say, Ethan Hawke, to see him play somebody dense like this was so crazy to me, mind-boggling. He was good too. I still enjoyed his character.
Yeah.
Um,
What kind of surprised me was
Mhm.
Ethan Hawke and Kevin Bacon are in this movie.
they are.
They look so much alike.
They do. Yeah. I was about to mention Kevin Bacon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kevin Bacon's in here. He plays someone who's very mysterious too.
A little bit.
Yeah. Until you find out at the end, it's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
he's that one of those type of guys.
Yeah.
They do a good job of keeping the mystery a secret.
They really do. I'll give them that because the whole movie you're just like, all right, what's going on?
Yeah.
What's happening here? Like from the very honestly, the feel from the very beginning of the movie is very strange. The cinematography, the way things are shot from the
Mhm.
beginning before stuff really starts kicking off, I will say, had a feel to it that kind of made you
Uneasy.
uneasy. Yeah, uneasy or like paranoid or skeptical.
Which
like,
I think that's what it's supposed to do.
you're right. It did capture that feeling. So I'll give the movie points there. I'm not horrible.
Well, it was okay. They get this Airbnb. That's pretty much what it is, right? Well, no. Well,
Essentially, it's an Airbnb.
essentially,
yeah.
yeah.
Let's just
Essentially,
go
that's
with
what
that.
it is. They rent it out. They don't know who the owners are.
Which is kind of weird.
It is kind of weird.
Yeah.
That'd be like you getting be Airbnb for your wedding and not know
Yeah,
who like Jacob. Is these people you
there's
got
a
keys from?
profile. Yeah,
Yeah, there's a profile there.
Which I
So-
do want to get into that. So let's.
I thought that was kind of weird. Julia Roberts right off the bat, she seems like a total B. She is caring
Yeah,
all
she's-
day long.
Well, according to the Wikipedia, because I I went back and read the plot because it's been a little bit since I seen the movie before we came here. She's what's known as a misanthrope.
What's that?
It's just someone who doesn't like being around other people. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's almost like apathetic.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
okay.
Or, like no empathy kind of a
Yeah.
person, but like she still has empathy, but it's just, they're not very people.
Yeah, she's not
know.
a people person.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it definitely comes out that way, but for the purpose of this show, she's a Karen.
Yeah.
But she's a straight Karen. I mean, she just seems total bitchy the entire time.
The whole movie.
The whole
Her
entire movie.
and George GH's daughter.
And she really didn't start getting filled up really good until she started drinking.
Mhm.
And Merge like seeing what song was that they were playing? God damn it! Oh man, because I haven't saw the movie in a long time either.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the first time I seen it come out. But to see Mahershala Ali and her dancing was just money to me.
Yeah.
Money. But yeah, that was another reason why I like that scene, because that was the first time she really opened up. Obviously she was liquor induced,
Yeah.
but that was the only reason why. And it was Blackstreet she was playing in the back. They were playing in the background.
Blackstreet.
Yeah, that's a random. That's the second time I seen Blackstreet in a random movie.
Yeah.
This and TMNT. So that was another random
Hey, it's on the
occurrence.
come up.
It's on the come up again. I don't know where that came from.
Hey, sometimes you make a song and it doesn't get famous for like another 60 years. There was some song that just, I think it was like number 1 on the charts. Some Christmas song, "Rocking Around the Christmas Tree." It won an award or it got something recently, and it's been around since like the 30s or whatever.
Not surprised.
So,
But yeah, man. So that was funny. I understand her when they encounter Mahershala Ali. I get that part.
no, it totally makes sense. Okay, see, that's what I want to get into, because what I mentioned either earlier in the episode or last Monday, I can't remember, but it was about me kind of staying away from looking at movie reviews or hearing about movies or something like that. And going into this movie, there was this talk about how this is like kind of a race bait movie. There was like heavy racial themes, and that's all I heard about. And watching this movie, I can see where
It's
that
there.
comes up.
Yeah, it's there.
And there is like a line or two that kind of mentions like they don't like us because we're black or whatever.
That's what the daughter said.
Yeah, and again, insufferable character, just like the wife is. But that situation where you're at an Airbnb and the owners pop up and they're like, "Hey, we live here. We need to stay here for the night."
That would throw
Anybody would
anybody
have
off.
that reaction of like, "Who are you?
Yeah.
What's happening?"
Mhm.
Now, what bothered me was they had already brought them into the house, invited them in the house, and then she was like, "Well, I'm going to need to see some ID." You already let the vampires in.
Well, it didn't help already that Ethan Hawke let him in. Ethan Hawke was like, "Oh, sure, come on in." That goofy son of a gun. Man, I just, I just want to slap him across his
He's
head like
such a
this
dummy.
Back to the Future style, like McFly, just
Yeah.
idiot.
But you didn't think about that when they were at the doorstep, just like, "Hey, before I let you in, like, can I just see an ID so I know?" Like, because there's a blackout, right? There's a reason why they can't pull up the phone app of,
Everything's out.
Yeah, everything's out. And so in order to prove his identity, there's like a liquor cabinet that he kept locked up.
And he had like a key in there.
Yeah, and he had a key on his key ring, and he went and opened it, and
At first it didn't want to open. I was like, "Oh no."
Yeah, they wanted to set you up to make
they kind of set you up a little bit, like,
Yeah.
see, they're gonna be all through this movie thinking about this man.
Mm-hmm. So, but then he proves like he is the way he is, and then they're like, "Okay, well, we're still gonna sleep in the master bedroom because we rented the damn house for the
Yeah.
weekend." And the daughter doesn't like that because she's like, "This is our own house," and we're
And he puts a
sleeping.
gun in the drawer. I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, okay." So setting up the audience for more and more speculation.
Yeah,
Like, oh, this guy might not who he's supposed to be. He might be a whole crook.
yeah, exactly. And then the daughter's mad that they're sleeping downstairs in the basement, but yeah, and given that situation, like, well, we rented the house for the weekend.
Yeah, because I got kids too, but up here too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you don't get to come in halfway through our stay and be like,
paid
"We're gonna
for
live
this."
here now."
Yeah.
Kind of a sidebar, but like, have you noticed? I don't know how many of the Airbnb commercials you see,
Not
but
a lot.
Airbnb is advertising. Like a big component of their like advertising is like, "Oh yeah, we rented this Airbnb, and like the owner was so nice. We hung out and did karaoke with them, and they cooked us dinner." Nobody who stays at an Airbnb wants anything to do with the person who owns the Airbnb.
Well,
I don't want to see you. I don't want to like walk through the living room and you're chilling in the chair. Like,
Well, slowly on the next podcast we have to talk about this. Airbnbs are starting to go out now because they're messing them
yeah.
up now. They're messing up the Airbnbs now, so a lot of people want to stop doing them now.
You're right. And for some reason, they decided this is the way they're going to advertise. They're
Yeah.
like, you get to hang out with the owners, and it's more
Mhm.
personal. I don't
No.
want to see the owner of the
Mhm.
damn house I'm renting
That's okay.
for the 2 days.
I'm good.
Anyway, I mean, I can see how there's like racial undertones
There
or
are.
there's vibes to it, but the problem is I already heard this. So going into it, I'm looking for that now. Right.
Yeah.
And I was saying that about Barbie when they were talking about Barbie being a man hating movie. I was in there and I was like,
Preconceived notion.
I was just kind of like waiting for the man hating joke to come up. And they make jokes about Ken, but it's because Ken's stupid. And we talked about it before.
In this film in particular.
It didn't ruin the movie for me, but just like it was always in the back of my head. Because now I'm thinking like every line that she says, the wife says, or I'm thinking about every line the daughter says, or I'm thinking about, all
Okay.
of what they're talking about.
So how did you feel about the whole thing in totality when you found out what was really going on?
It was an interesting twist compared to because naturally we see so many apocalypse movies where we're like, all right, end of the world situation, what's happening? And by the time you get to the end of this film, the big reveal is it's not a weird event. It is our
military.
enemies,
Yeah,
some kind of
a
cyber
terrorist
attack.
attack.
It's like a whole breakdown of society. This is how they did it. So it was something unexpected. But at that point in the movie, I was just
Tuned out at that time.
I was tuned out,
Yeah.
man. This movie did not hit me in any sort of way. I didn't feel.
Yeah, okay. See, I agree with that point. I agree with the fact that in your mind, what you wanted to be,
Mm-hmm,
when you found out what it really was,
mm-hmm.
that kind of threw me out. I was like, oh, alien invasion.
Yeah,
Nope.
like no, it's
Because, you had the problem with
it's
the
a
deer.
human element.
It's a human element. Because
Yeah.
you saw the deer and stuff. You was like, oh, okay, the deer.
You got the deer, you got the flamingos,
Yeah.
you got the weird screeching sound,
The plane
the
crashing.
Teslas, the plane
Teslas, yeah,
crashing,
mhm.
the oil tanker, and so there's so many events where you're like,
There's got to be an alien apocalypse. Or
What's happening?
A
Yeah.
natural disaster or
and
something.
then they're miles away from civilization, so they're not in the chaos. They're
No.
outside of the chaos. None
Yeah.
of the chaos is affecting them
Mhm.
until all the Teslas go crazy.
Yep.
Which that was kind of a neat scene.
That
but
was a
al-
cool scene.
But also like, oh, way to dig at it. Like that's another thing.
Teslas were trash.
It felt weird because as much people like claim it's like racial undertones and stuff, they make fun of a lot of liberal elements in this
They
movie.
do. And this is Obama's now.
It is the Obamas, and that they make fun of like the electric cars being taken control of. There's a scene where Ethan Hawke's dumb character, he's got a gun pointed at him, and they're trying to help his son.
That was Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, Kevin Bacon's pointing the gun at him, and Ethan Hawke's just trying to get some medicine for his son, and he's like, I'm stupid. I don't know anything, and I'm not prepared for this." And there's also a scene where Julia Roberts is going on this whole little monologue with the
Yeah,
daughter, but like,
uh-huh.
oh, we try to pretend like we're doing things right, we're eating the right things, or we're recycling, we're doing reusable bags, but like all of it's BS, and it doesn't really, we're not really helping anything. That actually kind of interested me because
Well, I guess
it was a commentary I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, I guess they're it's them trying to poke fun at themselves, but it just didn't land.
No, it didn't land in a funny way. It was
Yeah,
like,
it
oh,
didn't
this
land.
is kind of a weird social commentary coming
Yeah.
from this movie, knowing the production company.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, okay. More and more you talk me into it, the more and more I'm starting to kind of like, because it's been a long time since I've seen this movie.
Yeah.
And like I say, we're just now reviewing this because you just saw it.
Yeah.
So now it's just kind of slowly talking me into it. I still think it's a good movie just because the acting performances, and that's the only reason why I put it above that.
I suppose you have a point about the performances because Julia Roberts did make me dislike her in this movie.
Yeah.
And the daughter, I don't know the actress's name, but she really made me dislike her in this movie.
Mhm.
Or, Ethan Hawke, big dummy.
Yeah. Emma Herschel Ali.
You're right.
Being very believable
Yeah.
as this creepy dude.
Yeah. There when I was trying to do some research, I was trying to find some clips so I can make our intro and outro for the segment. And all these speculation videos kept popping up about like who was his client?
Yeah.
Was his client Obama? Because they bomb just because the Obamas are behind this, there's so much crap about like what does it really mean? Is there
I've seen that too.
is there satanic
That's like-
things in this movie because it's an Obama connection? Like
And those type of things that make
Come
me
on.
not want to watch these movies
Yeah.
anymore. It's like, oh God.
yeah,
It just bores me to tears to talk about that stuff. So
yeah.
yeah. But I'm glad you saw it. I hate that you hated it. I mean, I hate that you didn't like it.
Can I tell you there was another movie that I was kind of comparing it to.
What was that?
Not in like a narrative way, but like in overall like how it felt and how it compelled me to watch it kind of way, right?
Mhm.
Honestly, I forget the name of the movie, but it came out a few
Damn.
months ago.
Well, yeah, but there's my seat. Damn.
Adam Driver. It's a Netflix movie.
Oh,
Adam
okay.
Driver was in it. It's got something to do with a train. It starts with a train crash. There's a train crash. There's an environmental disaster. Let me
Oh,
look up
okay.
the name.
Yeah, but there's my seat.
I know, right?
I was like, oh man, he's gonna name this movie. I can't wait to see. I forgot the name.
White Noise.
Oh, I heard the white noise.
White
yeah.
Noise. It didn't come out last year. It came out in 2022. Wow.
Oh,
But
okay.
I watched it last year. Anyway,
Mhm.
so it's kind of set up not in a similar way, but in a similar way, right? It's White Noise was kind of about an apocalyptic situation. This movie's about an apocalyptic situation. White Noise had chapters. This movie had chapters.
Yeah, this movie definitely
So
had chapters.
I'm kind of looking at it that way. White Noise had me watching it the whole time because it was obscure and it was weird, but it was obscure and weird enough to make me keep watching it and thinking like, well, what's going to happen
Yeah, that's
next?
what you
What's
want.
going on?
Mhm.
Because it begins with this environmental disaster,
Mhm.
and then that's just a third of the movie.
Yeah.
After that, there's another thing, and then another thing. Like they get through the disaster because you think that's what the movie's all about, and then no, there's more to it.
And this movie doesn't have that. This movie just has that one element where it's just
You're right.
straight about this, and boom, that's it.
You're right. But also, like their family was weird and strange enough, and the situations were weird and strange enough to like keep me invested and just like what's going on?
Yeah.
How is this movie gonna end? And the way it ends is just
Sad.
the way it ends.
Yeah.
You know? And this movie just didn't grip me, it didn't compel me. It made me dislike the characters, which was kind of the
what
point.
it's supposed
right?
to.
It's
Mhm.
supposed to make you it is supposed to make you feel a certain kind of way. And I understand that.
You don't feel anything. I mean, they did not do their job at all.
You're right. And I do get that. And it's just it didn't click.
I mean, it's understandable.
You
I
know-
mean, some movies are like that. Some movies, I just wanted to talk about it because I figured that it'll be a great discussion to have, and
And
it has
is.
been.
It is.
We talked about it pretty good there.
And I did a little bit more research on it. And at the top of this I said it's based off a book.
Yeah,
I went and looked at the book and I did a comparison on how the book is and how the movie is. Because that's my second question. Like, oh, it's based off a book. Let's
Mhm.
see what all they did.
yeah.
So handy dandy Wikipedia has the plot of both the movie and the book on there. So I went and read it. And the book pretty much is similar to like the movie is similar to the book. They
Oh,
didn't
that's
really
good.
change much. Apparently, Obama himself was a very huge fan of the book.
Okay.
So during the screenplay process, he was kind of involved in tweaking things because he wanted to make it a little bit better than what the book was.
Hey, he's like,
Or, he was kind of fangirling. You know what I mean?
let me tell you how it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
Just come for a second, Julia.
yeah.
Talk to you for a second.
Yeah. So the only real big thing they changed was Marshall Ali's character. His daughter in that movie in the book was the wife.
Okay.
So they made that change
Made the
for whatever
switch.
reason.
Yeah.
And then but it still ends the same way. Like Ethan Hawke and Julia Roberts, their daughter's the daughter character for them, Rose. She still goes and finds the other house with the bunker.
Mm.
Except in the book, she brings back the supplies. In this, she eats the supplies and then finds the bunker thing and watches the season finale of Friends, or
Friends.
the series finale of Friends, because
She
that's
just-
all she cared about.
That's all she cared about. The stupid friends.
That's all she cared about. And friend of the show, Richard, had made the comment that he feels like she was the main character of this movie
Yeah.
because that's her whole arc is like
Yeah.
she wants to finish Friends. Like she's watching Friends in the beginning, and then she's at the last season, and then power goes out. She can't watch Friends no more.
Yep.
And so she's trying to figure out how to watch
How
this
to watch
movie.
Friends.
All this is going on in the background while the adults are just like, what's happening?
Hmm.
you know?
Which I thought was very, very funny. I
Yeah.
thought it was funny and stupid at the same time.
And it was. And it was just one of those endings where it's like, that we're ending like this. Like, we're
Yeah.
gonna find
I did hate the ending. I was like, this is so stupid.
because really this is just a setup for a whole different movie if you wanted to go that direction.
Which I don't think they will.
I don't think they will either because there's only one book. There's not
Yeah.
a book series. It's one book, and it's really just the beginning of an apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
It's not set in an apocalypse.
Yeah.
This is the beginning of something grandiose and
Mhm.
life changing
Which I don't
for
think
everybody.
like I said, I don't think they're gonna delve deep. I don't think they'll delve that deep into it after all the reviews about it.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah, it was, like I say, it was a interesting movie to say the least. I'm not gonna sit up and say it was award winning.
I wouldn't say that.
No, it wasn't one of those. But I wasn't shocked that you didn't like the movie. I'm not gonna be honest with
Yeah.
you, because I was just interested in talking about it with you because I know this is one of those movies that is good to bounce off different discussions off of.
You're right, and I didn't hate the. I'm not furious at the movie.
Yeah.
It's
Just didn't like it. Didn't do nothing for you.
yeah, I didn't like it. Didn't really do much for me, and just didn't care for the characters at all. None of them. None of them I really
Hey,
cared
I hear
about.
you. I hear you, buddy.
There was a funny bit towards the end where they meet Kevin Bacon's character.
Yep.
He's like the prepper,
The
right?
eccentric. Mm-hmm. He's very eccentric.
And they're trying to get some medicine for Ethan Hawke's son, who got bit by a tick and now he's losing his teeth, which I thought was like really random, but
That's what made me think of aliens.
right,
I was
but
like,
it's
oh,
not.
okay.
It's actually Lyme disease.
Yeah.
It was what Marshall Ali's character
Mhm.
said it was. You know what I mean? It was Lyme disease.
Yeah.
And I thought he was dead when the mom was trying to wake him up.
I thought he
Julia
was, too.
Roberts. I thought he was going to be dead, but no, he was alive. He was just losing his teeth. So anyway, they're trying to get medicine from him, and things get a little tense. They pull guns on each other, but then Ethan Hawke does his little "I'm a stupid man" speech, and the next scene they have the medicine from him, and then the guy's like counting some money. Kevin Bacon is counting some
Kevin
money.
Bacon.
And he's like, "Oh, look, well, seems like we're gonna have to go back to a bartering system now, or whatever." And Ethan Hawke's character is just like, I just gave you cash. Like, it's not any different."
Yeah.
Like, he just made some comment about like, it's not really, it's cash. I gave
Yeah.
you cash for this. It
Mhm.
wasn't bartering. But like the way he said it was just like kind of to himself. It was just funny.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen this movie because I only seen it once.
Yeah.
And that was it. I said, ooh, this is one time. This is one time.
It's a
again.
it's a long
It's a too long movie.
and slow movie.
It's a very, very
2.5
slow
hours movie.
So yeah, I get what you're saying. I probably do sound a little contradictory because a lot of what you're saying I do agree with.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Cool.
I'm glad you liked the film. I mean, yeah, I'm glad you didn't like the film.
Well, hey, it's worth the discussion, right?
It
That's all
is.
that matters. So, you ready for the outro?
Yeah, let's go.
All right.